Hello, kindergarten. All right, today, this is a very brief intro video of how to use a watercolor set with a cup of water, and I have a practice sheet, so I want to show you a couple magic tricks. So I have short sleeves on, but I still have some tricks up my sleeves. So let's talk about our basics, okay? When we hold a paintbrush, here's a paintbrush, say hello paintbrush, hello paintbrush. We have a couple of different parts on it. We have the barrel, which we sometimes hold on to. We have this metal band that holds the bristles to our barrel. And for the most part, I encourage my students to hold their paintbrush on that metal part. Sometimes you'll see that there will be a rubber grip right here, just like a pencil grip, and that's really good to hold on to also. This one does not have it. This is a paintbrush that comes with a paintbrush set. That's why I'm using this, okay? We have our watercolor sets. They range from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple or violet, brown, and black. On this practice piece of paper, I want to show you the good reasons of why we use our oil pastels. Okay, so I have three different shapes that I drew. I have this letter C, or 3/4 of a rectangle missing a side. I have a rectangle, and then I had this same rectangle that I broke up into two different little smaller rectangles. Okay, so first things first. When we need to get started, we need to have a mat underneath our picture, okay? When my kindergartner at home, Finnegan, he paints, we use his placemat, okay? It's a good thing to have. If you have a placemat at home, go for it. If you have a newspaper, if they still make newspapers, use those. Those are great. So what we're going to do is make sure that our area will stay clean. Sometimes we'll drip, sometimes we'll spill. That's okay. It happens. We're new at this, and we're still learning. We're beginning to learn. Okay, so here's our process. Last week, we came through and we made this awesome picture. Okay, before we get painting on that, I just want to show you a tip or two of how to paint successfully. I have gone through, or I'm about to, I'm going to get my paintbrush. Here's my water cup. My water is going to get nice, get these paints nice and wet. So I'm just taking a little bit of water and I'm just trying to loosen them up. Not adding too much, and I'm not stirring any of our water in. I'm just laying it down on top. Okay, very, very quickly. Okay, now, something that I want you to be aware of when we actually get to our painting. You're going to see in the next video, not in this one, in the next video, I'm going to start with our lighter colors first, and then I'm going to move to our darker colors. That's all about our water staying as clean as possible. If I start with a purple for our sky and then I try and do yellow, it's not going to work out very well. Okay, if I start with yellow and then gradually get darker, the colors will stay the same. Now, you are at home, so you have all the time in the world to paint this picture, and you can change out your water or ask a parent or older sibling or babysitter, whoever's with you, to help clean out that water cup, okay? So when it gets dirty, clean it out. In class, we won't really have that option. I'll try and clean out our water cups as quickly as possible, but sometimes working in this process of working from light to dark, it's a little bit easier. So let me show you a couple of things. I'm going to get my paintbrush wet. Okay, so our process has to be water, paint, paper. Water, paint, paper. Now, what do you think is going to happen if I take this piece of paper and I turn it on its side? Is this paint going to stay in one spot, or is it going to drip? It's going to drip. And there it goes. Give it a little bit of a shake. It's going. Okay, we don't want that to happen. Now, there are parts on our pumpkin where we have like our eyes and our mouth. I plan on making our eyes and our mouth yellow, like there's a candle in that jack-o'-lantern, and I still want my pumpkin to stay orange. What do you think is going to happen if I paint in this rectangle with two different colors? I'll start with my light color, with that yellow on one side. Water, paint, paper. What do you think is going to happen when I go to paint this other half orange? Are their colors going to stay separate, or are they going to start to mix together? Uh-oh. They are mixing together. And if I move it around, uh-oh, now they're really mixing together. That's not good. We don't want that to happen to our picture. So let's go and look up here. This is a pretty cool experiment. I'm going to take my paintbrush, and I know that I'm not holding it on the metal part where I told you just to hold on to. I'm holding it on the red part, the wooden handle, to get my hand out of the way so you can see what we're doing. Okay, so I have yellow on one side. I'm going to take some orange. I'm going to paint orange on this side. Look at this. Are the colors mixing? No, they are not. I can even, and don't try this at home. Don't try this at home. I could even tip it up a little bit, and you could start to see, especially on that yellow, all that water is starting to pool that way. Okay, I'm going to lay it back flat. I could even tip it this way, and the yellow and the orange are doing the same thing. They're not going over that oil pastel line. But look at that yellow and orange square that we painted, rectangle that we painted down here. I can barely see any yellow. But up here, where we had those lines, we're keeping our colors separate. That's exactly what we want to see. Okay? Now, in the next video, I'm going to be painting our picture the way that I want my painting to look. Okay? You don't necessarily need to paint it the way that I'm going to. And it might take a little while for me to paint it, because I'm going to take my time and try and do the best job that I can. So if you want to start the video and hear what I have to say, that's great. And you can hit pause. And if you want to fast forward or skip through just to see what I'm doing, go for it. Very, very quickly, I will not be using the black paint. Just like in our drawings that we've been doing since the start of school, I'm probably going to stick to purple or blue for our sky, only because we want our moon and our ghost to stay visible. If we use our black paint, it might be very, very dark, and it might cover up everything. Okay, so be very careful in choosing the colors for your sky. Okay, so that's the end of our intro lesson. In our next video, you're going to watch how I paint our picture. If you don't want to watch how I paint a picture and you just want to go for it, you want to try, that's great. But please just watch the first 2 minutes of my next video, only because I'm going to tell you a little bit of a process of painting our pictures together. Okay. Awesome. I'll see you in a few minutes.